Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to check out professional voice in Speech Playground inside of Azure AI Foundry. So first we're going to go and find professional voice here. There it is, and click into it. So the first thing you're going to see when you click in is this right here, apply for limited access. So professional voice, also known as custom neural voice, is a limited access service. If you click on this, it'll take you out to the application that you need to submit to actually gain access to this service. So it'll ask you to read all the instructions carefully and complete the form as instructed. And it asks for some basic things like your name and your company's organizations, or your organization's name, the subscription IDs you intend to deploy, your work email address, your address, what type of company your organization falls into. Is it a systems integrator? Is it an independent software vendor? How many employees you have? Is it a medium market, a small business, a large business? What industry are you in? And then down here at the bottom, you'll see it'll say, please select the services you would like to apply. So here you can choose custom neural voice, hit next, and it'll take you through the rest of the application. Okay, so let's go back to Speech Playground. So that's the first portion. Now, if you scroll down a little bit, there's a portion here that says see and hear how it works. So this is great for anybody who's really just starting with professional voice and they kind of want to understand, like, what is this, right? So there's two ways you can do that. You can read the script here. You can just go ahead and read through that. But if you'd like to hear it, you can also hear it as well. So you can click here and let's take a little listen.
Hi, welcome to Custom Neural Voice, a speech service capability on Azure. I'm Jenny, a synthetic voice created by Custom Neural Voice, and happy that you're here. Custom Neural Voice, sometimes referred to as CNV, is an AI tool that lets you...
So you get the gist there, but yeah, so you can either read it or you can listen to it, but it's a great thing to do when you're first getting started. Okay, so let's scroll down a little bit more, and now you can see there's some samples here. So there's a couple of things to keep in mind here. There's several different types of training methods. There's default training method, multi-style, and cross-lingual. So for default, that's a highly realistic voice in the same language of your training data. So for that, you need 20 to 300 utterances or sentences, and then it'll take about 20 to 40 hours, compute hours to train. So you're probably like, what are compute hours, right? Good thing we have an asterisk here, and we can go down here and it says, compute hour is the unit used to calculate the cost of professional voice trainings, right? So if you're like, I wonder how much this will cost me, there's also a link here so you can go check the pricing details. The other training method is multi-style. So for this particular one, you would start with 300 utterances for default styles, 100 utterances for each customized style, and it takes about 90 compute hours to train. So you're probably also like, what are default styles and what are customized styles? And we'll talk a little bit about that when I play the samples for you. Okay, then there's the cross-lingual training method, right? So this will create a voice that speaks a different language from your training data. So for that, you can start with 300 utterances, and then it takes 20 to 40 compute hours to train as well. Okay, great. So now let's listen to some of these samples. Okay, so we're going to start here with default, but I'm actually not going to play the original voice recording, and you're going to see why in a minute. So let me play the voice that was trained with 300 utterances.
He returned to the field in June 2017.
Now you're probably thinking, that sounds familiar. It sounds familiar because it's my voice. So I actually trained that voice with 300 utterances, and it sounds exactly like me. So you can see that the fidelity of the voice and the naturalness of the voice and the realness of the voice is very good, right? But yeah, that's what I speak US English, I did my data in US English, and I got back a US English voice that sounded just like me. But for multi-style, I'll just give it away that the rest of the voice samples are me as well. But so for multi-style, Microsoft offers specific styles or default styles, right? So some of those styles are, you can see on the screen there, angry, cheerful, excited, friendly, hopeful, and so on and so forth. So these are default styles that you can apply to your voice, right? And for the customized styles, let's say, and I always use this example, maybe you want to have a style that's not part of the default styles. And I always use hangry as an example because I feel like hangry is actually a real emotion, that we all get around lunchtime. So you could actually record yourself being hangry for 100 utterances or sentences and create your own customized style. So that's what that means. But yeah, so let's play my voice with these different styles. So this is just my voice without styles.
He returned to the field in June 2017.
And then I'll just play down the line.
I can't take this anymore. I'd be happy knowing you're safe. I can't wait to try out the new game. From the first day I met you, I knew I found the perfect friend. The future belongs to those who believe. She felt disheartened when she was not chosen to be on the school team. Hey, John, breakfast is ready. You can come down now. The house is filling up with smoke.
Sorry, I had a problem with my mouse there.
I don't care about your reason for being late. You have been a big source of help. Thank you.
So there you go. You can see now my voice has all of these different emotions. And the coolest thing about this is I didn't record any sentences or any utterances with these emotions. It used something called transfer learning to take my normal voice data where I'm talking just like this and create my voice having these different emotions. Okay, so that's multi-style. So cross-lingual is where, for example, like my 300 voice recordings are spoken just like this in US English in the same cadence, same tone, right? But it uses transfer learning again to actually create my voice in different languages, which it will include the correct accents, pronunciation, etc., and so forth. So this is my US English voice.
He returned to the field in June 2017.
And Japanese.
今日の予定はありません.
So I don't speak French Canadian or Japanese, but here I do, right? So this is a great way to really localize your content. If you're trying to be, more global with your content, this is a great way to really get that done. So, okay, so now if we scroll down a little bit more. Once again, it talks about responsible use of professional voice fine-tuning. Now, if you were like, what is this all about? There's also a video here that you can play, and it'll explain why Microsoft requires this, right? And then, of course, here we have you can click out here to the application again. So going down here, key steps to use custom neural voice responsibly. Number 1, apply for limited access, and we just talked about that. The other thing that's very important is Microsoft requires a disclosure from the voice talent. So if someone asked me like, hey Deb, I'd like to make your voice, and I said, yeah, that's great, that wouldn't be enough. I would need to record a statement that said, I, Deb, give Deb permission to create a synthetic version of my voice, and then that video recording actually has to be uploaded into our self-serve portal, the self-serve portal for custom neural voice or professional voice, to be able to create the voice. So you cannot create the voice without that disclosure statement. So just make sure if you're going to create someone's voice that they are okay with it, and they make sure that they are okay with recording this statement as well that needs to be used. And that being said, there is within Foundry. There's, you would go to the fine tuning area, and that's where you would actually create your voice, right? And that's where you would upload your own data. You would, do all the naming you need to do, and then you would create the voice there. So it is a self-serve portal. You do it all yourself. And then also, disclosure within your solution, it's good measure to build and maintain trust with your customers, right? You want to be transparent about, the synthetic nature of your voice experience. So, there's disclosure design guidelines, and there's disclosure patterns that Microsoft asks you to, read and follow as well. Okay, so this is just a quick, how, this is like a 6-step, how does it work, right? So number one is always apply for access, then design the voice. So the thing that you need to remember is that, especially if you're a company, you want to make sure that you're developing a voice persona that, you know, defines your overall sound and the emotional tone for your use case. You know, if you're designing an application for a customer assistant, you want to have someone who sounds customer assistant-y, right? Just make sure that when you are, you know, whoever your voice actor is, just make sure that they know what kind of persona you're looking for. And then preparing scripts for your use case. You know, a couple of these we require at least 300 utterances, right? So it's usually 300 utterances will get you started, right? So two things to keep in mind. Number one, Microsoft does have scripts that you can use in GitHub. So you can actually go to GitHub and it'll give you scripts that your voice actor can read off. But keep in mind, like, if you have like you know, jargon specific words, it's a good thing to actually have your voice actor read those as well, right? So if, like, I'll give the example of, like, you know, Contoso, right? And maybe Contoso has a program called Contoso Cache, and that's, like, you know, not a real thing in the real world, but it's something that's going to be said over and over. You want to have your voice actor read Contoso Cache in the context of an actual sentence. So I'm so excited to give out Contoso Cache, or something along those lines. Just make sure that you get those domain words into sentences in your training data, right? Okay, and then recording your voice samples. So, you know, the recommendation is to do it in a recording studio, in a professional recording studio. Although I will say, during the pandemic, people were doing it in closets because the professional studios weren't open. So you can actually get in a closet as long as you just have you want to make sure that your noise floor is very low, right? You want to make sure that you have the best quality audio, because it's quality in, quality out, right? So if you can go into a professional studio, absolutely do that if possible. And then training, like I said, you'll create a professional voice fine-tuning task. You'll upload your recordings and your scripts, and then you'll train them and then test them and then deploy the voice, right? And then once you're like, okay, great, I love this voice, then you can integrate. So you can use the voice in your apps. You can use the speech SDK, or you can create content with the audio content creation tool, which I went through that in one of my previous videos, so check that out as well. It'll show you how to use the audio content creation tool. Okay, and this just shows some featured customers down here of Microsoft. So Vodafone, it looks like they use it with digital assistants. Swisscom, they have a multilingual voice assistant. AT&T delights customers with immersive experiences. And then Duolingo, they have characters that they use custom neural voice with. So that is an introduction to custom neural voice, also known as professional voice. So, you know, let me know what kind of voice you'd like to make in the comments. And if you have any questions, you know, feel free to ask in the comments as well. And I'll do my best to answer you. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.